Hey guys, M.A.D.D.Y. I don't know, but today we are back with Go! My favorite sports team. And today's episode will be about injuries in sports. Now, since I haven't played sports for so long, the only injury that I've ever had playing sports was in PE, and I thought I broke my ankle. It felt like I broke my ankle, but I just sprained it. And I had to use crutches for the whole day because I couldn't put any pressure on it, and I had to go to the hospital. And I thought I broke it, but it was just a sprain, so I was good. But yeah, any other injuries in sports? Not that I can recall, no. But we're gonna see about either maybe Tyler and Mark will give us some insight on their sports injuries or something like that. But let's do that. I'm on my phone because I'm gonna do some editing for you with you guys. So yeah, Alexa, play the newest episode of Go, My Favorite Sports Team.
Hitting Go, my favorite sports team from Spotify. Here's the latest episode, Injuries in Sports.
Hello, elegant and beautiful listeners. This is your host, Markiplier, one half of the dynamic. Why are you cringing?
Because this voice is making me feel things.
What thing?
Weird things. I don't understand this voice
You
you're
know,
doing.
you could talk like this into the microphone all the time. That's how some people maybe do.
You're right. I could just talk into the microphone like this all the time. I could talk in the microphone like this all the time.
Welcome to season 2 of Go, my favorite sports team.
Episode 2 of season 2.
Didn't I say that?
No, you just said season.
Season 2, episode 2. I said a lot of twos. Anyway, you are listening to the most intimate.
Oh, stop. Okay, stop. Can we stop that now?
This is the most intimate sports podcast.
This is why Tyler doesn't let me do the intro anymore. But welcome, elegant listeners, to Go! My favorite sports team. Season 2 is roaring forward, and before we even get started with anything at all, I have to introduce the co-host, the man with the most. What he has the most of, you'll only have to listen to find out, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry. Tyler.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Tyler. If you haven't listened to season 1 or you don't know me from all of the other episodes that exist, welcome, first of all. And second of all, I have a master's degree in sport administration. I've studied, played, done everything sport you can possibly imagine in the United States and somewhat beyond.
And I have not. And that's what this podcast is all about. Bridging those who don't know the world of sports with the people that do know the world of sports. And with season 2, we have established a lot of rules about the basics of sports, about various things in sporting and the sporting world. But now, today, we are better versed. I am more educated. I am sexier than I was last year. I am so much more in tune with my body than I was before. Anyway, I have learned because I watched a football game.
Oh, you did? Which game?
It was Bengals versus the Patriots.
Oh, you watched that game.
I
That was
watched
an
that
ugly
game.
By the way, that was the first time in the history of the NFL where a game ended in that score.
What?
Yeah, that was the first time a game ended in that score. The final score was the first time in
it was
history.
like 3 points, 4 points apart. Was it something like that?
I think it was 22 to 15.
22
if I'm
15.
remembering right.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound right. No, that's not.
22 to 18.
There
It
you
was-
go.
That's better.
Yeah, that's better.
It was 4 points apart. That's what I knew was like it was 4 points apart because it was the game where I'd seen more missed extra point attempps
Mm-hmm.
than I've ever seen, and I don't know if that was like high, but it seemed like both teams missed at least
Yeah.
one.
It seemed at one end of the end zone, because that's where the predominant misses occurred, because there were also field goals missed on that end.
And it was
That-
cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
That the wind was just doing something weird where you couldn't really see it on the flags. So a lot of the kickers were like, okay, and then it went wide right, and then they'd overcompensate, and then it went left.
Weird.
they couldn't figure out the wind patterns and what was going on.
Well, anyway, so I watched a game, and I think that one game in 1 year of doing this podcast is a pretty good score. Good score. Going from normally watching 0, which is what I was before, I've watched 1. So this year in season 2, I will watch 2 games.
Oh, the bar's set real high, guys.
Yeah, 2
So
games,
high.
but I did it and I enjoyed it, and I could actually understand a lot of what's going on. Which, like, I've seen football before. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But I understand a lot more of what was going on. I understood, like, the missed extra points stuff. I understood kind of why they were doing the plays that they were doing. It was just interesting to see. Like, I kind of had this, like, I knew why when they were going out of bounds. It's like in the 4th quarter, I know it's different and, like, stuff like that. So it was fun. I enjoyed watching that game. I was more invested in that one because it was Bengals, my hometown.
Right.
But, you know, it was like, I could feel myself being like, ooh, maybe I'm feeling a little something. Maybe I'm liking the sport thing a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now that you know it, there might be something invested.
Yeah, and for those of you who are paying attention to when these games are, obviously I watched this over winter break. Sue me. I didn't talk about it last week. Look.
Yeah, in all fairness, this is our first recording in the actual new year.
Yes.
The episode that you listened to before this, we recorded so that we could
Christmas
take the break.
Yeah, exactly. So this is actually the real season 2 opener. Whereas the last one was just a bullshit episode that everyone should purge from their minds. But this one, very important.
Very,
Why
very
is it important? Because it's sponsored by us. We have merch. Merch.gm. Do we have merch?
We have merch.
Okay, merch. You were looking at me like we didn't have merch. I was just like, what the hell?
It's store.gmfst.com.
Store.gmfst.com. That's STORE. I spell it one right. Anyway, handing it over to the actual man who knows what the hell we're doing today, and I will play the stupid listener.
Oh, you don't have any jacuzzes today?
Do you want jacuzzis?
I mean, people have been compiling them. There have been a long list of jacuzzes.
I didn't even bother
thrown at
looking
me.
because I'm like, okay, it's in between seasons. Is this like a season?
There were so many people because during the break we were posting all of the episodes on YouTube.
Oh.
So more people got to find out about the podcast and started listening to
Podcast.
it. I said podcast really weird, but that's fine. There were a
Podcast.
number of jacuzzes that came out.
Oh, you got them? Oh, I would love it.
I don't have them. I didn't pull them up. Jacuzz you?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Here's a jacuzz from Waffles Cole. I don't think Tyler actually has a master's degree. You know, for all this talk about Tyler has this big sports master's degree and how he's such an expert on knowing sports, but none of us have actually seen the degree. Nobody has heard from it. So why should we believe it actually exists? Come on, Tyler. If your master's degree is so real, then show it to us. If you refuse, it will enforce my point that your degree is fake and the whole show is a lie.
Well, my master's degree has my full legal name on it, and I don't want everybody to know my entire full legal name.
That is the weakest argument
Listen,
I've ever. Tyler.
It's in Ohio.
Shied.
I didn't take a picture of it. I know where it is. Did you just say my middle name?
What's wrong with your middle name?
I don't want
It's not
people
this
to
big
know it.
shit. What do you mean you don't want people to know it?
I have it hidden so that people can't look up my private information fully.
All right.
And figure out all of the details
Well,
of my life.
I don't think that's how names work.
It's not.
Just
I don't know.
It's not like a demon where you have their true name and you get to control their destiny. It's like, it's just,
But
that's
then
your
they can
name.
make the voodoo doll and like control me or whatever
That's
it
not
is.
That's not how it
Well,
works.
Maybe I don't like messing with things that I may or may not believe in or
I don't
believe
know.
exist.
Is that a thing? Are people
It's
like
not a
know, like,
thing.
if you whoa, I don't want you to know my middle name. It's like a secret.
Yeah, it's a thing. But when it comes to my degree, I have it. I can tell you straight up, I went to Wilmington College and I graduated a semester early. I actually won the department award for sport admin.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the year after I got my kidney transplant. So I only had one semester after my kidney transplant, and I graduated. And then I took a year off and I went to grad school, and I was there for 2 years, and I got my master's degree. I almost double mastered. I technically could have done it in 1 year, but because I was going for a double master's, I was going for exercise physiology. But I can't, like, just show it to you. I mean, I guess I could, but it's back in Ohio.
Tweet it out.
I don't have it. I don't have a picture of it.
Get your dad to take a picture of it and send
Yeah,
it to you.
I already had him send me other documents that were needed for
What's
other
your birth
things.
certificate? I won't know until your birth certificate is revealed to the world.
I have my birth certificate.
Show the world. Tweet it right now.
No!
No.
Your birth certificate. All right, next accused. I've accused Tyler and Mark of being secretly way shorter than they are. All their photos have been photoshopped. Time to get that leg extension surgery. Toes Tyler, because on the 10-foot facts about Tyler Shy,
God, no.
it says that you're around 5 feet 6 inches tall and that you're married.
Wait, it says I'm
It
married?
says you're married, yeah.
Who wrote this article? Where did you find these 10 facts? Because they're false.
The Caleb Dawkins said that they just have a screenshot here, so I don't know what the source is, but you're married and you're 5'6".
First of all, I've never been married. The longest relationship I've had is 1 year. You can take that as sad or as triumphant as you want.
Hey, a lot of people out there have never had a relationship, so you know.
That's true. That's true.
Same.
No, I just haven't found the right person on that front. But also, why does the internet think I'm 5'6"? Ethan is 5'6". I think
I'm
the internet
5'6".
is He's 5'8".
He's 5'8", yeah.
Then why? You're literally. I stand next to Ethan and I tower over him, and the internet's like, Tyler's 5'6". He's 5'8".
all right. Tower over him. Let's not get ego. Wade towers over him. You are taller than him. No, not Wade doesn't even tower over him. I tower over him.
Yes, Mark. This whole time has been 6'8".
You'll all see. I've been walking on my knees my whole life. Long con. I'm gonna play y'all. But okay, if we're going by proportion, it has your name right, it has your age right, it has your birthday right. Are you an Aquarius?
Yes.
American?
Yes.
Is your job YouTube star?
No.
Okay, so it's got, of these, you're not married, you're not a YouTube star, and you're not 5'6". It's got 5 correct things and 3 incorrect. It's proportionally correct. Therefore, it's all correct.
No, that is not how.
That's
the
not how it
internet
works.
That's giant lie.
That's what it
Giant
is.
lie.
That's what it is.
Also, this person, somebody shared this in the wrong part of the Discord server, and I had to shame them. I had to be like, this doesn't belong here. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like,
why are you shaming people in the Discord? What are you talking about? Wait, I missed something. What did you say?
they posted it in the Distractable.
Oh, God. Was that worth shaming them?
I didn't shame them. I just said, hey, this doesn't belong here. Is that shaming them? I'm just letting them know.
You said shame. You're the one. I'm just going by your words.
Maybe I'm trying to say add extra adjectives to make it funny.
All right, fine. Am I laughing?
No.
Wait. All right, here's a real accused. Okay, sports related, which is very rare. Tyler, I've waited long to send in this accused in hopes that you would address your mistake in the baseball primer, but unfortunately, I must bring this to light.
Yes, the designated hitter is universal now, and I hate it. And I didn't double check. I knew it was being voted on. I didn't know it passed. I know this Jacques. I know what I said was inaccurate about the National League and American League. I technically corrected it on Twitter, but for the record, there's a universal designated hitter on both leagues now. I screwed up. I admit that.
God.
But I also think it's really stupid and wish they would go back. I think the designated hitter being universal is dumb.
My God. Well, a Jacques has finally landed, which you all know though as that means. He will. Tyler will now hand his master's degree over to me. It is now mine. He has been Jacques, and we as a collective have defeated him. And I am now in charge of the podcast.
Oh, then
This
that's how it
episode
works.
of Go is sponsored by Rocket Money. I've got so many dates to start out the new year.
Why do you sound out of breath?
I've been panicking in my room, pacing back and forth, trying to figure out how I'm going to afford it.
Well, how many dates you got? Like 2?
Around that.
More than 2?
Could be.
Isn't that disingenuous to the people you're taking on a date?
I never said it was more than one person.
Have you ever heard of Rocket Money?
No.
Have you ever heard of money?
Well, yeah. Why would I be stressed if I hadn't heard of money and feeling like I was out of money?
I don't know. You sounded really hesitant about it. Either way, Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place.
There's no way one thing can get rid of all of my various different subscriptions.
You know what else sounds impossible? You having more than 2 dates. You having more than 1 date. You having a date at all.
Maybe it's a date with myself.
Is it?
This is about saving money.
Look, 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like the streaming service you bought to watch just one show, or that free trial that you never even used. Those things auto-renew. Did you not know that?
I thought I paid once and then I had it forever.
No, that would be lovely if that was the way the world works, but it doesn't because it's a fair, just capitalist system. And we all know it works and there's no better way. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/GoTeam. That's ROCKETMONEY.com/GoTeam. rocketmoney.com/GoTeam.
Well, Mark, you watched the football game,
I did, yeah.
but you didn't watch the game that I thought you had watched.
Oh?
Did you hear what happened to DeMar Hamlin?
Yes, I did. I didn't
So-
watch the game, but I did hear about what happened.
So, for those of you that don't know, the Bengals and Bills played each other the
Yep.
week after they played the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And during the game, in the first quarter, I think there was like 5 minutes left, a very freak accident kind of occurred. And DeMar Hamlin, an athlete for the Buffalo Bills, a rookie, mind you, his heart stopped. And he collapsed on the field. This is the first time in the history of the NFL they performed CPR, and thanks to an AED, got him taken care of and revived to have a pulse again before heading straight to the hospital to the intensive care unit. Since then, he has recovered at a tremendous rate. He has actually been discharged from the hospital as of like a few days ago, since we've been recording this, and he is back in Buffalo recovering. He has made a tremendous recovery. And so, huge shout out to all of the medical personnel that attended to him right away, to the trainers and staff, like the people over at University of Cincinnati Hospital, which is a major trauma unit in Cincinnati. And Mark went to UC. Their med school is really good. But huge shout out to the players, to everybody who acted in the way that they did, the coaches in stopping the game and being like, yo, this is a big deal. We're worried more about his life than we are this game right now. And so the game ended up being canceled. And the immense amount of support that came out during that. But I wanted to talk about this briefly because we're going to talk about injuries in sport. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about this incident in particular because it has such a huge impact on the amount of people that really saw like an outreach about like recovery from injuries. Because people have broken legs, people have torn ACLs, people have had numerous things happen to them on a football field, and the game continues on. But this was something different.
Yeah.
The amount of impact of like players and the shock and the fear and everything in that stadium for what just happened was something we had never seen before.
Well, it looked like someone just dropped it.
Yeah.
That's what anyone in the stands would have thought. Like, when I was young, I was not at this game, but I used to go to school that was like a small, tiny, like private school. Did not go there very long. No one think that I went to private school as a kid. I was still very poor as a child. It was a tiny Christian school, Calvary Christian Academy. That being said, there was like this basketball team, quote unquote, that they had. During the game, one of the coaches had a heart attack and died right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was not at that game, but it was just one of those things where it was like that was one of probably my earliest experience with like understanding death, because he was one of the staff there, and then he was gone. And so all I heard was a story about how he just literally had a heart attack, and it's one of those heart attacks where you're gone. There's no coming back from it, and that can happen. And ever since then, I was like thinking about that all the time. So of course, like most people have this understanding that you can just drop dead one day. You don't need to be hit by a bus. You don't need to get shot or stabbed or anything like that. You could just drop dead because your body failed you, and that can be the end of it. So when it comes to a football game where that's what everyone in the stadium is witnessing, it's kind of an equivalent of what I tangentially, I didn't even see it as a kid, and it still affected me incredibly. When everyone in the stadium was just looking at this, and a player just gone, and then an ambulance rolls up. Like, that was the craziest thing. Seeing an ambulance on the field was to me like, whoa. It's like the idea of like a cow on a beach. It's like, where's a cow on a beach? It should be there. That's an AI thing.
Right.
But it was very weird.
Yeah. So the most interesting part about this, if you watch the video of the actual contact, he made the tackle and stood up and then fell backwards and collapsed. And immediately medical attention was on there. Immediately diagnosed that he didn't have a pulse. CPR was done on the field. I have actually seen an ambulance on a football field twice before this time for broken legs. And that happens in football. That happened to Alex Smith. He had a very bad leg break, and they came on the field and they took care of him. But this was just completely surreal. I mean, complete non-responsive, everything.
I was in New York when this
What
happened.
really happened, or what I believe happened, is something that can occur when you take a traumatic hit in a certain window of time when your heart is beating. And it's an insanely unlikely probability because the window of it, according to cardiologists, is about 30 milliseconds. and then very few blows would be timed this way. And it has to hit the right spot with enough force, and it can just mess with your normal sinus rhythm of your heart and just completely stops it. Which explains because it still why he was able to make the tackle after the contact, get up, and then it impacted him is because his sinus rhythm got messed up, and then it eventually just stopped the heart.
I want to put this in perspective for everyone. Will, please play a sound for 30 milliseconds. That's how long it was.
Yeah. What it actually is commodio cordis is what the actual event and the injury is. It's an extremely rare and dangerous injury to the heart that causes this cardiac arrest. And in many cases, more often than not, people die from this. It has happened in youth baseball when a baseball has been hit off an aluminum bat and hit a kid pitcher in the chest. Funnily enough, Evan told me about this. A kid he went to high school actually died of a cardiac event and is the reason AEDs are so readily available now across the nation. And he was telling me about this because it originated in Connecticut. And so this event took place, and that's why AEDs were there. And if an AED wasn't there, they might not have been able to revive her. And so it's just a crazy event. And it's one of those very, very extremely unlikely injuries that can occur in any sport that has physical contact. And it's just insane.
Yeah, it's kind of just crazy because when your heart stops, it's not just like, oh, your heart's not beating. That's delivering oxygen to every part of your body, and no part of your body needs oxygen more than your brain. Your brain needs it. If your brain doesn't get oxygen for a minute, damage starts to occur. If it gets it for a few minutes, cells die. That's how quick it happens.
Yeah, and people change from this, and from what they can tell so far while he was at the hospital, is D.M.A.R. was fully himself.
That's good. That's rare. That's good.
And it could very well be possible that he comes back and plays football again, which would be insane. But his recovery has been tremendous. The support and outcry from the NFL and fans and everything there has been immense, and it's been phenomenal what has been done. You know, when things happen in sports, you recognize when things happen that are bigger than the sport. And this was a moment where it was acknowledged and recognized and done properly. Of course, the NFL did some things and changed some rules after the fact, but I don't give a crap about that. I'm just glad D.M.A.R. is.
It was a totally freak accident, though. I don't think a rule change could have stopped that from him. He wasn't even tackled. He was the one tackling, right?
Correct. And it's not a rule change about that. It was a rule change about canceled games.
Oh.
It's about how it affected the playoff picture, and I don't really care.
Okay.
And it ended up working out how it did. The unfortunate thing is the Bengals ended up having an injury in the next game, but it doesn't matter. What matters now is D.M.A.R. is back. He's back in Buffalo. He's recovering. He's looking healthy. Everything is trending upwards, and things are moving forward. But this event is unlikely to happen again in our lifetime. But injuries do occur in sports. It's a common part of sports.
Sure.
Mark, you've experienced injuries.
I have, and I don't like your accusatory tone.
You broke your foot.
What is this? I knew this was accusatory. What does this have to do with anything? Yes,
No.
I broke my foot.
How much did that affect your life?
I wasn't able to walk.
How much did it actually impact you on a day-to-day basis?
It impacted incredibly because I broke my 5th metatarsal, which is the pinky mid bone, not the pinky leg bone, but in your palm. If you think of the bone inside your palm, where your pinky's lined up, that's on the foot. That's what I broke. A tiny, tiny bone. Turns out that bone is real important for walking. If you don't have that bone, or if that bone is compromised and damaged, you can't walk at all on that. You can't even I'll put most of my weight on my big toe. No, turns out your entire weight is kind of reliant on that bone. Hence why it broke. But at the same time, it made it so I had to do crutches all the time. Tyler, you wouldn't understand. It was so arduous. I had to do crutches for months. Oh man, maybe 2 months. Oof, it was so bad.
Oh my God, I haven't been on crutches for over a year of my life in existence.
Oh man,
never.
That
never
just
happened.
the worst. Good thing I'm the one that's suffering now.
Oh yes.
But no, it was bad. If that's what you're asking, it was real bad, and a big ouchie.
Yeah. So does it still bother you?
No.
Did it heal fully? So it's all set.
Yeah, they didn't even need to set it at the place. It was a Jones fracture, which I believe is named after an athlete.
Probably. That sounds about right.
I think so.
There's probably a lot of athletes that had the last name Jones. There are a lot of Joneses. Hence the phrase "keeping up with the Joneses."
Just, you take that and go I bet there's lots of Joneses in the world. If I to guess.
Hey,
I know a TV show has the word Jones.
moving forward, there's some really major traumatic injuries that have happened in sports. Kevin Ware
Why don't you pick fun topics?
I do
Why do you
sometimes.
pick happy topics? Where's the Happy Sunshine Puppy Bowl?
Wait,
Where's
this
the
was
Puppy
DeMar
Bowl?
Hamlin coming out of this has been great.
Yeah, but you're talking about how sad it was and the solidness of it, and oh yes, all of it was just it was
All
really
right,
nice to
all
hear
right,
everybody,
fine.
But where's
I
the
won't-
happy bit?
I won't talk about the worst sports injuries or the fact that a ton of injuries occurred during the Washington Stadium in the same area where there's multiple knee trauma with Roger Staubach and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll
What?
skip forward.
What? What? No, go back. Go back. Go back. I want to know about all the. I want to. Yeah. What is the worst traumatic injury that ever occurred?
All right, so there's
Someone get run over by a Zamboni? Has someone been run over by a Zamboni? Oh my God.
that has happened,
Did it
but
happen?
I
Do they
don't.
get turned into
It's not on
mincemeat?
my list.
Do they get turned into mincemeat?
Hold on, let me look it
Oh
up.
no! Don't look up pictures. No. You'll get scarred, but then tell me. I'll judge by your reaction. I'll describe his face. He's
Okay.
looking intently. He's staring down at his computers.
Okay.
His one eye twitched, like went a little squinty.
Okay.
It's like his brain is trying to protect him from something.
Okay.
He's looking intensely. He hasn't blinked yet.
Okay.
He sees something. Oh, his brow is furrowed. His brow extra furrowed. He looks very worried, concerned, almost confused, scratching his lip.
Yes. So there have been Zamboni accidents.
Okay.
There's one that killed somebody
Ooh.
named Eddie Lebach.
No. Mincemeat
Wait,
to shreds, you say?
a Calgary man almost lost his leg after he got trapped in a Zamboni as he was stepping down from the machine.
Oh.
Hockey player almost gets run over by a Zamboni during an interview.
Oh.
Wait, why is it showing? Oh, it's a joke. It's when the hydraulic fluid was leaking in Pittsburgh and it was bloody underneath the Zamboni.
Oh, right. I see that.
There's a lot of nearly got run over, but running over somebody with a Zamboni would actually kill you just because the Zamboni weighs 5 tons.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good.
Yeah, I don't know how you would get run over by it, but that's a whole Deadpool joke, so.
Yeah, I don't know what goes on underneath the Zamboni, what it does to the ice. I don't even know what it's actually doing to the ice. And don't tell me, because save it for when you have to redeem yourself for your terrible soccer hockey primer. All right, but carry on with the episode you had planned.
All right, so the worst sports injuries.
But make it fun.
Okay, it's fun. You know, you jump in the air, your name's Kevin Ware, and you land and your bone just comes out of your leg and it's all sunshine and rainbows.
It comes out of your underwear. You know, you gotta make it rhyme. Finish the
No.
rhyme. You're in the air. You're Kevin Hare.
This was in 2013, and he just happened to land awkwardly on his leg, and it was a compound fracture. That's one of the worst injuries in college basketball. 1994, Napoleon McCallum complete hyperextended his knee, meaning bent the opposite way backwards.
Oh man, have you ever seen that weightlifting video? Don't look this up, anyone.
Yes,
Do
I have
not
seen
look
that.
this up.
I have seen that.
Don't look it up. Just don't ever do a leg press ever. Don't do it, everybody. Don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, everybody. Tyler, don't look it up. What are you looking up?
I'm not looking that up. I'm looking at the fact that a football player tore an artery.
Great. No, this is really fun.
A lot of leg fractures.
You're
A
right.
dude, a baseball pitcher fractured his arm mid-pitch. That was a really awful looking one.
I did see that. That was recent,
Yeah.
right?
That was in 1999.
Never mind. I saw someone who recently did that.
Oh, yeah. The sound resonated through the field.
Yeah, no, the video was very strange because you heard what sounded like almost a whip crack or like a gunshot, and I realized, like, oh, that was not a gun, that was his bone breaking.
Steve Yeager got a piece of a bat impaled in his neck. Baseball
What?
player.
Ugh.
1976.
But
Very
fun.
You know, he got a new cool.
Oh, good.
Accessory.
Good. This is great.
Nick Foley had his ear ripped off in wrestling. Jessica Dubé face slashed by blade of skate in ice
Well,
skating.
did it cut into the shape of a smile?
It was a beautiful smile. You know, she had the Joker smile.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am sad, and I'd like to think people come to this podcast to get glad.
Yeah, Clint had his artery severed by, a skate as well in
Oh.
hockey.
Good.
You know, injuries happen in sports. Some of
Yeah.
them very bad.
Yeah.
mini leg injuries. The interesting part is all of the incidents that occurred on Washington Field. I'm not going to talk about them, but you can look them up yourself.
Why Washington? Is it cursed?
Apparently, there's belief that it's cursed because there have been Robert Griffin III, Joe Burrow, Joe Theismann, Alex Smith, all have had traumatic knee injuries at Washington.
Why?
Or broken legs.
Why?
The crazier part is the similarities between Alex Smith and Joe Theismann. The break itself, the location on the field, everything lines up really weirdly.
Well,
If you wanna look up.
okay, that would make sense because if you needed to put pressure at a specific angle to get that injury, the action leading up to the injury would probably be similar because it would need to put the same forces on it.
Correct, but the location on the field, no. The play that was called,
okay,
the fact that they played for the exact same team.
There might be a thing where psychologically in the space it might have seemed like a good call to make given the circumstances of this field, where you are, what play you would run at that point, because for some reason psychologically people see the same problem, they might come up with the same answer.
Either way, people believe that Washington is cursed for quarterbacks and injuries.
Fair enough, I believe you.
All right, now let's get into the actual meat of the matter. Act 1,
What?
injuries are a part of the game.
Or you only have 20 minutes left in the episode.
We'll get through there. There's a lot that's going to be cut out. We already figured that out.
No, there's gonna be like 2 things cut out. You got 30 minutes.
All right, why injuries occur? The amount of physical toll that you put on your body to perform at your highest ability. More often than not, injuries are minor. You get bruises, you get rolled ankles, you get different stuff like that. But there are traumatic injuries that happen, especially when you have physical contact. You're trying to change direction. You're going from high miles per hour to high miles per hour the other direction. You have to absorb that force, then re-exert it to force yourself back in the other direction.
But happily.
Yes.
I want a lot of happiness here.
All of these performance things, this is why injuries are part of sport, because you are literally pushing your body to its limits to perform your best.
Sure.
It's the same reason why injuries occur in car accidents, to a degree, because
The cars are really trying hard.
no, because you're going at high speeds, and if a collision occurs, you are a fragile jug of water and meat and bone. That's what the human body is.
That's not a happy way to describe the human body. Describe it
It's-
happier.
You're a sweet, loving waterbed beanbag chair of glory and fragility that makes you so delicate and wonderful.
Oh, I want to get that tattooed. Write that on my arm. So I can always remember that I'm a beanbag waterbed.
So, according to the CDC, an average of 8.6 million sports and recreation-related injuries occur each year. This means about 34 injuries are reported for every 1,000 individuals participating in sports. Now, keep in mind most of these are very minor, like rolled ankles, stuff like that, sprains, those things exist. Injuries are more common in males in that 61.3% of all injuries occur in males versus females at 38.7%. And injuries in the 5 to 24-year-old age group accounted for more than half of all episodes, and 64.9% of injuries being between the ages of 5 and 24. And general exercise is the most common activity associated with injury. So just general fitness.
So
equipment can cause you injuries, stuff
The
like that.
lesson learned is don't bother trying to go outside. Don't bother trying to get in shape. It'll only cause problems and injuries. It doesn't outweigh the benefits. It's all bad.
The other thing on here is the majority of injuries occur because of overexertion. Therefore, people that haven't exercised and then need to, say a bear's chasing you, have to run, that's when you're going to get hurt. If you are not in shape, if you are not working on your flexibility, if you're not working on muscle balance, the majority of injuries occur because of those things. Lack of flexibility, lack of muscle balance. So, like, if your quad is a lot stronger than your hamstring, that's why people pull their hamstrings. People's backs hurt often because their core is weaker than their back muscles, because they aren't doing the normal things that we as humans were designed to do, because we have developed technology to compensate for things so that we are more efficient. We often forget that our bodies and our muscles are needed to exercise in order to be healthy. And generally injuries occur when you are more so when you are not healthy.
That makes perfect sense. But I'm not happy about it, so you gotta make me happy about it.
There are ways to prevent it.
Oh, well then why are they getting injured in the first place? Why haven't they told these people?
Well, they have many times. So the easiest way to prevent sport injuries is you warm up thoroughly.
Okay, sure.
So you're not going in and trying to immediately squat 400 plus pounds. You warm up to that.
Are people doing
Yes, there are people that go in cold and try and do that stuff, and that's how they get hurt.
But okay, I'm not even an athlete, and I know that you warm up first. Period. There is no other way.
Some people, egos are a problem. They think they can outdo other people without warming up. There's a lot of things that factor in.
You know, this is kind of crazy because Alex was telling me this morning. Like, Alex has been like doing the crazy diet, doing like Alex, like always working out all the time. Alex is my personal trainer for doesn't know. And he was telling me he went to a public gym for the first time, and he lifted like some really impressive weight. I think he said he did a shoulder press with 105 dumbbells in each hand, which I couldn't
That's a
do
lot.
that. That's
Yeah.
a lot. And so people were coming up to him. They were all like, "What are you doing? What are you eating? What's your diet? What's your regimen?" We go, "Well, tell me. And it's like instantly. So what I gather from that is where everyone says you go to the gym and no one's looking at you, everyone's looking at you. That's what I got from that. Is that no matter what you're doing, if you're in the gym, when everyone's saying like, no one's paying attention, you do your own thing, everyone is judging you. And I take that to heart. And that means I'm never going to a public gym ever again. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
And they looked at him do 105. Well, I guess maybe the difference being he goes, picks up a 105. Have you seen TikToks of people like, hey, can I work in? And someone's like benching 2 plates. And they're like, hey, can I work in? It's like, yeah, you need a spot? Yeah, no, I got it. And then the joke is obviously he does a skull crusher with like 2 plates.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. And then, well, that was... No one will know what song I was doing. Will, please make that the actual song. If you don't know what the song is, just replace it with something on his iPhone. I don't know. Make me look good. Make me look good.
So some injuries occur because you're not wearing appropriate footwear, you're not wearing proper attire, like taping and strapping vulnerable joints, using safety equipment. Oh my God, like mouth guards, helmets, pads.
I know. How many times on this very podcast have we said at length, where are your safety equipment?
Yes.
You know what's cool? My helmet. My helmet is cool.
Yes.
I have a full face helmet. Yes, I'm riding a bike, but it's an electric bike, of which goes 30 miles an hour. But even if I wasn't riding an electric bike, I would still wear a full face helmet because your chin is not armored.
Yep.
And 42% of all bike injuries happen to your chin. Your chinny chin chin. Do you want to get jaw surgery? Oh, I don't think so. Wear a goddamn full face helmet and you'll save yourself all that trouble of having your mouth wired shut.
Yep.
Anyway, what's up?
And then also the main thing that actually causes injuries is form and technique. Making sure you're lifting properly and doing things in the proper motion so that you don't exert yourself in an improper angle or the wrong way and end up hurting yourself.
I mean, that's all
And then
makes
the
sense.
main reason people get injured, they don't drink enough water. Cramps, pulled muscles, a lot of that comes down to improper hydration.
Okay, so that's a big debate, like that a lot of people have. I still don't know the right answer to this point in life. Everyone's like, drink more water, drink less water, don't drink. You don't need to drink too much water. Your body will tell you when you have enough water. When is enough water? I just want to know. Tell me when how much water do I need, and that's it.
I mean, it varies.
We're gonna answer. No, we're gonna answer this right now because everyone says it varies. We're gonna answer this right now on this podcast. He has a master's degree, therefore he has the authority to say exactly how much water that you need to drink in your daily life, and that's gonna be the end of it. We're just gonna take that as biblical truth. And that's it.
So for men, 15.5 cups. For women, 11.5 cups of water.
15.5 cups?
Yes.
What's that in American?
3.7 liters.
What's that in American? Is that a gallon?
I think it's about a gallon.
Gallon.
It's about a gallon. It's
About
little
a
less
gallon.
than a gallon.
So we need about a gallon a day.
Yes.
Okay. How much salt?
You asked me about water. Now you're asking about
it's
salt.
a very, those two systems are intrinsically linked. Those two systems are intrinsically linked because the only way that your body tells you that you're thirsty is by detecting your
Less
salt
than
level.
2,300 milligrams per day.
Well, that ain't happening. Not in America.
Nope. But injuries are a part of sport because of exertion. There are ways to prevent them. Yada yada. There you go. That's the episode. Is that happy enough for you?
Yeah.
You want me to talk about playing through injuries or no?
Yeah, go for it. But I feel sad. I want my happiness up.
All right. Why athletes play through injuries?
For money, for their career, to not be fall behind, to feel like they have to keep up with the rest. If they take a break to relax, the other people are going to pass them because they're macho, because they can't let their ego down. Their ego gets in the way of their safety.
One is the warrior mentality. I am an athlete. I can do anything. I feel invulnerable. I need to be there for my team. I cannot let them down. I am going to push through and be strong for my team. I am a macho man.
I'm a warrior.
Yes. So, first of all, that's painted in the media, that's painted by coaches, that's painted by teammates. You play through injuries because you want to be there for your team. There is a certain level of societal pressure. There is also pressure upon yourself. Like when you're injured and you feel like you can shake it off, you do, and you can play through it because you also might think that you're better than the person that would replace you, even when you're injured. Sometimes you were forced to. This is a bad one. Sometimes coaches will diminish your injury and be like, "Oh, you can play through that rolled ankle. Oh,
Rub
you can
some
do
dirt
that.
in it.
Rub some dirt in, walk it off."
Well, who first said that? Who came up with the idea of rub some dirt in it? That is unequivocally the most horrible advice you can do for a wound, and yet everyone pretty much knows about that phrase.
Apparently,
Okay.
the expression comes from old school puppy training. People used to believe, and some still do, that when training a new puppy not to pee or poo in the house, you should rub their noses and pee or poo to make them stop this behavior.
How does that?
I don't know. That's why I
What is
said,
that come from?
what does rub some dirt in it mean? And that's what is listed.
That's not right. There's no dirt involved. There's no dirt involved at all.
Oh, okay. So it actually originates. They used to use clay to cover the skin to create something of.
No. Period. No. There's fungal spores that have not sprouted in soil. There's bacteria in soil. There's so many things in soil that you don't want inside of your body. Your body has created this really lovely sac called your skin to not get those things in your body. It's a sealed system. Don't rub dirt in it. There is some credence to licking your wounds. There is something to that. But dirt in it is not good no matter who you is.
Researchers at Arizona State University's Biodesign Institute
no.
have been experimenting with different clays.
Oh boy.
And it appears in some research that some clays have the ability to kill pathogens ranging from E. coli to methicillin, otherwise known as MRSA.
That's clay. You gonna ask me that the normal layperson knows the difference between dirt and clay?
No.
Rub some red earth clay in that. No, you don't want that. That's diatomaceous earth. You don't want that.
Anyway,
Is it diatomaceous earth? Well, I don't even know what it is.
based on a quick search, I cannot find the origin of it. I will get back to you as best I can.
Okay, don't rub dirt in it, but maybe rub clay. So saith we.
Yes. And then also, coaches and parents will talk about how important the game is. Like, it's life or death. And so, they convince people to play. There's also the fear of looking weak. If you are injured and you choose not to play, and some people look at you and they're like, "Oh, you can walk. Oh, you can do this." They judge you for it. There were numerous times in high school where, and this is why I stopped playing football in high school, where people did not believe I was injured.
Really? In
Yeah.
high school?
Yes.
That's
And I was
because
injured.
you were a big fat faker. You're faking it.
No.
You were faking it.
No.
I knew it. Everyone knew it.
No.
Everyone knew.
Yes, I wanted to be on crutches all the time.
Everyone knew. Thought you could get away with it. We look so sad, everyone. You look so sad. I didn't know. I was not part of that.
And we talked about the last one, threat of losing their job. It is their livelihood after all as a professional athlete.
See, this episode is so sad.
You made it that way!
God, my ears. I didn't make it sad. You did.
But the fame and glory, that's what athletes play through the injury.
Fame and glory. Yes, of course. Fame and glory. Definitely all things that are worth it.
But the reason you shouldn't play through major injuries and injuries in general without them getting looked at by a trainer is because it can make the injury become more severe. Your muscles will overcompensate for whatever's injured, and long-term effects and some things can become life-threatening.
Well, that sounds bad.
So listen to your body.
But here's the bright side.
The bright side is sports are fun. They're meant to be enjoyed by everybody, and sometimes injuries occur. Injuries occur in life every day. Injuries happen. Damar Hamlin was a insane event that occurred. That's highly unlikely, but things can happen no matter what you're doing. You were walking Chica when you broke your foot.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled over on my couch and tore my knee again. There are things that can happen in life where it just happens. By being athletic and by working on it and being an athlete or doing physical exercise, yeah, you might hurt yourself a little bit, but you are actually preventing health issues and injuries in the future, especially if you're doing things properly. So sports make physical exercise fun. Therefore, it's a great way for you to do things. Injury risk is going to happen no matter what walk of life you're in. There's a higher percentage from playing sports, but that's because you're exerting your body. And so, know the risk when you sign up for stuff. Pay attention to it, train yourself, and don't overexert when you don't need to.
All very wise words from the very wise man.
Anyway, that's your episode on injuries in sport.
I thought that was very comprehensive. I don't have joy in my soul, but at least I have the wisdom to avoid it, because some lessons are taught with blood.
Well, here's the thing. You can't have joy without knowing the negative.
So get as many negatives as possible, and
No.
then you will have the highest joys.
Because if you look at the injuries that could happen, you understand how being healthy and not having pain and not going through that is to be enjoyed.
Okay, so if I'm getting what you're saying, I'm going to break both of my
No,
legs,
no.
every bone in my body, and then I'm going to take 2 syringes of pure heroin and 1 of something else, and I'm going to stab them into my eyes. I'm going to experience the lowest lows and the highest of highs.
No! No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying injuries are a part of sport. Sports are fun.
I'd say injuries are a part of life, and
There,
sports
that's
are a part of life, as we have discovered.
There you go. You said it better than I could. I was stressed about time because you put it on me.
You did great on time.
Damn it! You got 4 minutes.
What? You have more to say? Nah, it's good. It's good.
No,
You
it's
did
good.
great. You did great, everybody. And now everyone can go on with their day worrying how the world is going to be collapsing around them to injure them. I broke my foot wonking Chica. I stepped off a curb and my 5th metatarsal snapped like a chicken bone. I could hear it.
Eat right, exercise, and be healthy, and you too can prevent.
Still can be injured.
I was gonna be like Smokey the Bear. You too can prevent injuries sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, anyway, thank you for that information. I do feel pretty. I don't feel any sadder than when I walked in this door. So I'll leave with that. Thank you, everybody listening at home. You can follow this podcast wherever you are, and go check out the YouTube channel while you still can.
Yeah.
You put like a timeline, like a sense of urgency. But anyway, go check it out while you still can. And you can check out Tyler's stuff, Apocalypto_12. You can have my stuff, Markiplier. And then you can check out more of this stuff if you are just joining us for the first time today. We have more great episodes. Go to the subreddit, reddit.com/r/GMFST, or the Discord that we have. It's a combo distractible go Discord, and find us in the favorites channel. And you can give recommendations for further episodes that you can watch. Some of the best ones, I'm sure someone will toss out some good ones for you to listen to, or just browse and peruse at your leisure.
Yeah, and feel free to use the Reddit to recommend topics that we possibly haven't covered, and the Discord. There's lots of options, and I do pay attention to it, so I do take your thoughts into account.
All right, sounds good.
Well, go enjoy some sports and stay healthy out there.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. All right, I'm glad that they talked about it, because that was like the big thing that I knew, because I was like in the kitchen area finishing my dinner when we were all of us were watching, all the guys were watching it upstairs, of when my cousins just came, my Uncle John came, and we all sat down and watched the Bills game. And we all saw the moment where it happened. I didn't look because I was down eating, but when I looked back up, everyone was like surprised and shocked and scared, and I was too. And like when they did the replay, I'm like, oh shit. And then like it was a whole like basically like 2 hours where we were just sitting there like, I don't think the game's gonna play anymore. And then like 2 hours later, like, oh, they canceled the game. So at least that was good. And then we kept on tabs on if the guy who got hit was good or not. But I'm glad he's fine now. I'm glad that happened. But yeah, the only injury that I can think of is when I was in like PE and I sprained my ankle. That's about it. But yeah. But if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to comment, subscribe, and make sure you check out the podcast because it's really good. It really is. But if you want to see my beautiful reactions to it, make sure to subscribe and let me know what you guys thought. Okay, I gotta go because dinner's almost ready soon, okay? But this has been M to the A.D.D.Y. I don't know, but this was a pretty good, so fun of like, accidents do happen, and if you get hurt, just get back up again. But, please be safe out there when you're playing sports or doing anything like walking your dog. But I'll see you guys later. Peace.